A Tale Under Mountain Shade. The towering stands of pine trees is a familiar sight for anyone traveling across central mountains of Sri Lanka. Being a conifer, pinus is more suited for temperate countries. However, the two major species of pinus found in Sri Lanka, the Pinus caribaea and Pinus patula, sprinkling over the Nuwara district, are both originated in Caribbean islands. Just like tea, pinus was introduced to Sri Lanka under two major projects. One of them occurred in the mid-70s when large-scale planting of pinus was put into action by the Paper Corporation to obtain long fiber pulp, which was obtained from Sweden and Canada under a cost of millions of rupees. Although later importing large fiber pulp continued failing the entire meaning of this project due to various reasons, plantation continued to mature occasionally. The other project commenced around 1978 in the target of establishing a tree cover in the mid-country grasslands that usually create troubles by catching fires in day periods and causing heavy erosions during monsoon rains, which then sediment the Mahaweli reservoirs. Exclusively found in the northern hemisphere, pine trees are generally found in regions like North America, Southeast Asia, China, and Europe. They usually dominate boreal forests in higher altitudes, which are harder for other broadleaf trees to survive. The growth form of pinus is well adapted to live in cold environments and nutrient-poor soil. The well-developed canopy formed by the trees avoid the amount of sunlight reaching the floor, and the fallen needles of pines form a dense mat covering the earth's surface, both preventing the growth of other plants underneath in either ways. Pine trees have also touched hundreds of human lives by aiding their living. While there is a prohibition to the felling of trees in natural forests, the ever-increasing requirement for timber in country also had to be met, and thus the pine timber along with several other fast-growing exotics stepped into the spotlight as a solution. No matter how supportive and scenic they are, there's also a vast range of facts arguing on the impact of pine trees to the country's environment, the most highlighting being an exotic conifer unit unfitting the tropical evergreen wet zone we live in. Pine forests also do play a major role as a devastating agent that deplete underground water. According to the undertaken recent studies, the groundwater recharge rate for pine trees remains at very low percentage for at about 8%. Further, these plantations are infamous for the fires that burst out in mountainous regions, polluting and destroying the soil, and also pose a severe threat to the biodiversity in the surrounding area. Despite all the negative effects they impose on, one cannot simply pull off all the pine trees at once and say it's fine now. Rather, careful scientific assessments are needed about the after effects of whatever changes they are trying to apply. If we are to remove all the pine trees, the land in mountainous areas will remain exposed to heavy rains and other natural disasters like landslides. For the strong roots of pine trees hold together the soil in those regions. Other than that, special care should be taken regarding instances where pine trees grow as forest corridors, serving as an area that allow exchange of individuals between populations. Attention also should be drawn to removing the pine tree itself on what trees should be and should not be removed. Different steps are being taken now to minimize the negative impact of pine trees. Authorities are proceeding with substituting the removing pine plantations with other trees and plants which are endemic to the area that can be grown without any specific environmental condition. And also steps are taken into consideration of growing pine trees in separate slots for commercial purposes without allowing them to blend in with the native natural environment. And also in whatever ways they plan to remove the pines, it's ill-advised to do that based on one's own consent, but it's well assessed and a sustainable way with minimal disturbance to the entire ecosystem, including the livelihood of people. Land is one of the best available resources for humans, and just fault finding it will only become a verbal exercise, making a valuable resource sterile. Thus, it's our duty to develop a system to well manage these valuable resources, reducing the ill effects while increasing the benefits, making them much more productive.